Um, okay, so welcome to I Wiggled the Table. Filming oneself. So yeah, I don't know that I will continue this as a video series. I've been more so kind of mulling it over in the realm of it being like a podcast or some sort of radio show that's not necessarily on broadcast, but specifically because what it is that I wish to speak about and on can maybe sometimes be more helpful for someone to see for themselves if there isn't a persona visually that they're perceiving, speaking about, consciousness or one's journey as a soul that's living in a human vessel, things like that. Sometimes also can help that there is a person in front of you going through something similar. So haven't fully decided yet. um, and also, I'm a fan of this vessel, but for the most part, it's also just one that has shown me things about the world because of the way people have reacted to it. And like, my soul's here to live many, many lives through all different kinds of incarnations and stuff. And I am very intrigued by the way that this specific vessel has been treated and reacted to. And I feel very grateful for the lessons that that has shown me about where humans are at as a organism, as a expression of the universe. So, welcome to Staying Awake, is what I've decided to call it, because even after I've quit smoking and stuff, it's still, I mean, there. It's not hard to stay awake. I'm a very energetic person, but also I really enjoy sleeping, even though I'm not tired enough to do so all the time. And thankfully, I'm not, because I have been in stages of that where it's very much because of wanting to avoid current reality. Also, through Pisces season and stuff, there was a lot to learn in my dreams. There's reasons. There's reasons. And then at different points in my cycle, it's just definitely better to have more sleep. And I love coffee, but also specifically the reason that Staying Awake is a name that I came across today is feeling like, yeah, that says it, because I came to an understanding of the relationship with my higher self, the existence of my higher self, even being a being that is a part of my life. And I swear, every time this is going to be in other videos of mine, whenever I start filming, my nose gets so much itchier than it was before. We'll figure it out. There's reasons for things. There's sometimes just whatever. Um, and so, yeah, staying awake is something that I find not necessarily the easiest thing to do once one has awoken. And this is not in the, current um staying inside of a conscious mind in the world the way that it is currently, in more so the existence that humans seem to be in. I don't want to say stuck in or anything. We all have our different ways of seeing and experiencing existence. That's kind of the point, because the universe has an endless, boundless amounts of ways that it wants to experience itself or existence, or whatever word you want to put on that, through your existence. So, just as a, if you need any reason to feel like it's okay to just be fully you when you are most connected to your soul self, even if everyone around you is not okay with what that becomes, outgrow them, leave them, then fine, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, you are here to be exactly who it is that is the you at the core of you, without all of the extra stuff that is put on top of our knowledge of ourselves. And then also specifically our knowledge of ourselves being humans, and what it is that that means in the scope of everything. And also grappling with, and this is something that I want to explore a bit as well, grappling with the history of what it has been and means to be human when one finds themselves connected to their own consciousness and then also therefore like the oneness, like source, the universe, their higher self, their ancestors being themselves in other past lives, or however you like to think of ancestors. But for me, I feel more connected to my own soul and its past lives rather than like my bloodline relatives, because I don't necessarily feel massively connected to them except for through the DNA proof that it is a thing, um that we are, birthing each other or whatever the fuck. Anyway, there's many facets to all of this, but I found that it's like I wake up into a new day, and maybe the night before, because I'm very good at this, like being something I can broach in the nighttime. I've always been a night owl, and that's fine. I was born at like 10 past 10 p.m. So for me, it kind of makes sense that the day would begin at night, because it always did for me. Um, Take what you will of that. I think it's interesting, but also like with being born later in the phase of the moon cycle, there's lots of reasons as to why. But it's like I wake up into a new day, and then it's like easier to, I guess, just be at that like somehow not like fully connected consciousness level from the get-go, either because you got to get up and go to work, or because it's like, coming back to being in a human body from having been in a dream world, I think can be slightly depressing, especially when it's not necessarily something that we're even sometimes aware is what it is that we are adjusting to as we wake up. And it's there's a multitude of reasons, but it has been harder for me to like wake up and then just like feel I can live and exist within the life that I'm currently living through this incarnation, and also through this like current society of and global society of humans' existence, to be conscious. Because I mean, there's so many reasons, but for the most part, let's just like admit it is not easy to be not necessarily like open hearted, but to be connected to everything that, I mean, we're always connected to all things. We are a part of the universe. We are the universe. Everything else is also the universe. We are one, but we're also individual expressions with their own, tangible, finite selves in a sense. Just kind of like the beautiful irony of like being one and also being individual. It's like, like, thank you, universe, for this journey. What the hell is this? Like, it's amazing to try to figure out always. And I mean, for no other reason than just the excitement of what that adventure entails in the like continuously. There's never a destination of information. There's never like oh, I know it all now. It's like continuously like, okay, well, pull out the rug. So, I wanted to create a space though that made it feel like, I guess, easier, or like just at least that there is a space to turn on, to listen to, that makes it a little like more accessible to those who are at a certain level of wanting this for themselves. And in no way am I saying to compare one's journey to another. I am in no way saying that any of this growth journey to oneself, within, out, is in any way linear. None of it can be compared to anyone else's journey or to your past. You know what I mean? Like, there's just none of that is allowed here as far as I'm aware. But also, I have an ego, I have a human existence, I understand what it is to have that so normalized within our brains. But even that, it's like the way that all of the other humans around us maybe interact with their worlds makes us feel, when we are like one out of everybody that we know, or maybe you have an entire community around you that speaks about different things like consciousness, or like their angels or their guides or their intuition, or like they practice with tarot or they practice with astrology, and like there's just like an endless amount of ways really for one to feel their oneness. I mean, it's completely up to your own individual self. But I also know that this world, as much as it's also like something where you will profit and then survive better if you don't engage with your emotions, that we've created a world in which that is the reality. So it's like it seems like that would be more difficult, right? That you're like now disengaging and disconnecting from a very inherent part of your existence, of our existence, so as to survive within the society that we currently have created for ourselves so we can undo. That's why I say that. Like, yeah, it's been thrust upon us by like colonizers and by capitalism and by patriarchy and stuff. But all of those are existences within the human species at one point or another. That is where the psyche, that is where the level of the collective consciousness brought us to. And I would love to sit here and individually hate on different individuals from our past and everything, because, like, oh, it feels great to point them out as well for the amount of decades that they've been, like, revered as heroes and shit like that, and how some people still think that there's any hoops. I also see that as a separation of, hey, that's bad or they're bad. Therefore, the way that I live, the way that we are going to move forward is going to be better than, is going to be good. We can make decisions that bring us to better places, that bring us to, and I'm not, like, in my perspective, yes, I think that we will be good. Things that are in the past are not better, but it's about perspective, right? And the reason that we have any perspective or feelings about things or impressions of different things is because we have emotions, because we're connected to them. Like, it's a very inherent and important part of existence. So if we are like continuing to buy into submit, which is kind of difficult to not, because survival is kind of, you know, one of the more basic things that a human will continue and try to do, or any living thing or any thing. I'm not here to speak on what it is to be an inanimate object inside of this world. Like, I don't know the experience of what it is to be in an animal's experience, or to be in an insect, or to be in a plant's experience. That's not the consciousness I necessarily need to understand, but I do need to respect that they are also a part of our oneness of our universe, the same as our, you know, perspective and understanding. And in no way is there a hierarchy or a, oh, we're more intelligent or we're more, by what standard? Like, it's just, no, it's the comparison. It just feels so based in like a need to feel better than, which basically just shows that you felt weaker than at one point or another. Anyway, there's much to be said on that, but yeah, you know, there's like just so many directions that I could go with all of this. All days, all the time is something that my mind loves to do, very easily has continued to do, and it has been years in the making. At the same time as, like, if I spoke about this when I first understood, oh my god, we're all one, I am connected to all things, like, that was a realization that my brain, my essence, was able to understand for the first time thanks to LSD. Like, whatever journeys you need to take in whatever ways, whatever conscious, like, anything that's leading you towards realizing the connection continuously, and also the dissolving of one's own ego, therefore to understand the oneness, and also to understand also much to respect all of the individuals that make up the oneness, right? This isn't like a, oh, shove your needs to the side, it's about the community. They're both as important as each other. And finding our way in going forward with that, especially having been so enveloped in like capitalistic ideas and individualized ideas, and like this just eradication of what it is to really be a community. It's developed, like, I'm, you know, in a place now where I'm like, fuck, I really love certain, you know, utopian ideas of what it is that humans could be, act like, you know, have embodied within their communities, within our global community as well. But like, do I trust other humans if we're all in a scenario of like, hey, we're gonna share now? We're not there yet. I'd love to say that we are, and there are humans that I trust in this world, and I trust myself, which has been its own little journey of like actually showing up for myself in the way that my inner child has always needed. And but like, on a grander scale, we have as a species treated, and then like as a, you know, a conscious soul collective that is like actively going away from and denying, in a sense, our collective consciousness and our consciousness in general, and the fact that we have the ability to be conscious. And then the fact that we have like emotions that are actually like a complete superpower because they are what connect us to the experience of living in the first place. Um, like there are so many layers of this that we need to deal with within ourselves, like give time and patience to within our own selves, and therefore also then within our outer selves, our outer communities, our outer relationships. And it's like my brain can see how these all correlate and connect, but when I think about the amount of humans that there are, like, and the fact that like so much of existence right now is based around like will we survive or not, you know, like it rarely and barely even gives time for a person to maybe develop the space to have an but I can't say in what, you know, environment is best for any one person to have a relationship with their inner self, their higher self, their inner child, and then therefore things that are outside. And if that's even a part of their journey, it's so individual that it's not necessarily that I want to sit here and have some sort of like how to do this cast or like video series or whatever. It's more that this is something that is being felt because I'm saying it, because I have felt it, and I have heard other people echo similar things, but in their own perspectives, understanding of it. And it's been talked about for a long time, but it's also been, you know, eradicated through fucking witch trials and through like just the treatment, to put it lightly, of like any indigenous community left, right, and center through colonization, through like just tearing apart and demeaning, disempowering what it is to be connected with not only the earth, but also like the mystery, the what it is now named to be God, which has then been turned into like a finite externalized thing rather than it being like an acknowledged, oh, we're the divine, you're the divine, I am the divine, we are made of the universe is made of us. Therefore, like, if I hurt someone else, if I hurt me, I'm hurting the whole. We're all connected here. And so, therefore, like, if you made decisions, right? Imagine humans were acting from that kind of mindset in some, you know, even if we started it right now, all of a sudden, it's not like a, oh, we'll make, you know, we wouldn't be making decisions that hurt or are out of balance with what it is that our environment, that, you know, nature, as we've said, is a separate thing. Like the earth needs, what is out of balance with what the universe needs, as in like the physical, actual other planet, solar system, whatever the fuck. It's not out of balance with all of the other humans, all of the other plants, and we don't have to like understand every other point of view or every other human just to respect that their livelihood, their balance, their like at least needs being served is important. Their survival, their like, right? So it's the kind of shift that is hard to make inside of oneself when the outside so completely reflects the kind of opposite and also almost demands of you and will continue to manipulate you into being something that is disconnected. And like, this is why it's not a journey of like, oh, I'm one now, or oh, there's my higher self, cool, all decisions will now be made in connection to that. For some people maybe that's the journey, but dear me, no, it is like, fuck, when you first get connected with that, like, it's so exciting, and it's like, you know, the understanding maybe of manifestation and stuff like that, but then it's like you grow into the parts of realizing that it's not only about making actions inside of your life or whatever, but there's also like this greater knowing that yes, we are abundance and everything that we need is a part of this universe and is within access of us. There's a lot, you know, all mixed in with that, but there's also a need to understand, and this is where I feel like we're growing into now, which is going to be very difficult specifically for individualized people in a society, in current society, that there's a responsibility to yourself, to all of existence outside of yourself, be it the past, the future, the now, like, you know, and that's not even just to the other humans that are in your life or to, it's like to the energy field that you are currently a living part of, to remember that every single day is like a gift, a miracle, an amazing, you know, and we are I can't fault people for thinking that it's not, because let's not deny that existence has absolutely been created within this mindset of us believing that we are parasites, right? That we are like only to be judged based on our success via monetary worth, or via the worth that is put validated by others that are external from ourselves. And everyone has their own individual journey with like how, in what way they have to find their inherent worth within themselves, and how that has been distracted from and like lied to them about, whatever it is within their own life. A lot of it comes from like, parents not knowing this sort of thing, and guardians not knowing this sort of thing, people that in general society has like defined us by, and specifically within my own upbringing and like Spice Girl era 90s child, that kind of thing. It's very like, for a long time my worth was placed on how sexually attractive I was to specifically males, which like, I mean, goes into so many different things, and it's not really something I want to go deep into right now, but like, like something so big. This is one minuscule incarnation, this vessel, of my soul's entire journey. And it's shit like that that takes years to unlearn within one's own self, because it's so much of your identity. It's like it's happened before you've even, understood yourself. And you'll have your own version of this, I'm very sure. And this goes to all like genders, all people in general, because while there are structures of oppression that are also structures of holding certain people up to gain more privilege because of the vessel they're currently living in, because there are these structures of hierarchy, because there is this world of like, you're either bad or you're good, or you're either included or you're not included, all souls have that threat on them, regardless of whether they're in a vessel that is currently being included in that structure of hierarchy. Does that make sense? Because the soul knows more than your vessel has ever understood. Your vessel is an impermanent thing, but we are so invested in the vessel and its, how people perceive it in this world. And like, also a lot of us are forced to understand how it's going to be perceived. Therefore, we have to now change our behavior or whatever because of how other people may think about us, because of the vessel that we're currently in, the color of the vessel, the sex of the vessel, the way the vessel wants to dress itself. Like, it's so the way the vessel acts, the way it shows up as far as ability, it's like, it's so detached from the understanding that we're all here together, that we're one. And I think that coming around to realizing that we're responsible to everyone around us, like, it all of a sudden means that we now have to grapple with the fact that we've been treating each other this way, that we've been treating our own selves in this way, and then like unlearning what all of that is within ourselves is kind of where it begins for unlearning that within society. But I mean, don't be surprised if you ground and connect. One of the most empowering things that I've ever learned to practice was grounding, and like my acknowledgement of my connection through my body or chakras to the earth's core, and then up to star beings, the universe, whatever it is that you place like above, it's all one, and it's all continuous, and it's all communicating at all times, and you are always connected, you are always loved, and you are always felt and heard in this space. So know that you are absolutely allowed always to access that within yourself. It is literally your right as an existing being. And anything that is telling you otherwise was created within this universe that is trying to disempower us. But also, this is one of the big things for me. We created this way, like we as a soul as the universe expressing itself through human vessels, created a world in which there is a system of disempowering us from realizing that we are connected, that we are divine. Why did we do that? Because we're a collective consciousness. So yeah, I could blame it on individuals and systems of oppression and structure that I see, patriarchy, colonization, like white supremacy, real things, very, very real things. But like zooming out, my brain loves to do. So hopefully other people this finds go, oh my God, I've been thinking this stuff, or that it's adding to a way that you maybe already think. But anyway, zooming out, there's a collective consciousness, there's an experience of the universe. If I look at it as like one being, right? Like you can almost see how like one human and the way that they may treat themselves inside of their brain if they don't believe that they are worthy of love would also mirror in how the collective consciousness is treating itself as a species. Because it's like self-sabotaging, to put it in the most basic way, to put it in a light way. It's like it believes that it's not worthy. Therefore, it creates systems in which a fucking lot of it's actually pretty much all, but like specifically under, white supremacy and patriarchy, there are very ableism and specific structures that have like an effect on very specific vessels that the universe is expressing itself as, but at all times it is always affecting all of the souls that are amongst that. So nobody's getting, you know what I mean? Anyway, oh, hi, Crow. Oh, it's a jackdaw. Whoops, I've been mixing those up recently. What was I saying? So yeah, I know my answers, or like all the answers or anything. Like shit, that is impossible. I only know existence from, and I know there's people like in this life that remember their past lives and have connections in a very strong way. I mean, we all have a different experience of what all of existence has always been. That's kind of the whole point. Like, we're weaving together the understanding of this the more and the more that we talk about this, specifically even just me expressing this now, regardless of whether someone hears it or not. Like, I am acknowledging something that I've thought about and want to speak on, and the universe then, through me, because I am the universe, right? Once it said, once it expressed, once it discussed, wants to figure itself out. And it's not necessarily to have like a destination of sorts or to like reach some utopia, because like, then what, right? That's not... My place feels always like it has been, I kind of see some offing destination of like, how to be better or whatever words we want to use there. But I feel like I can see kind of like the little lit up path that maybe gets us there. And I'm only one person out of all of the billions of people. Therefore, there are many, many other ways and other humans right now that are seeing that lit up path from their own perspectives as well, right? Like, it matters that all people, all expressions of the universe at any time that feel called to share this kind of thing, want to discuss it with their friends, their whoever it is, express it. Like, I don't want to say life is short. There's so many freaking cliches, but at the end of the day, I've also noticed that like so much more of this existence is like a hell of a lot more simple than I feel as though humans have wanted to make it for a long time. And I almost feel like that's the kind of thing that, like, if you're trying to manipulate yourself out of thinking that something is as easy as that, you create all these reasons, very easy to talk oneself out of this and out of that and blah, 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 and have all the things and distract you with all the words. Doesn't that sort of mirror the way a lot of our current society's set up, where it's like, but it could just be love, like, it's, or whatever word you want to put in there. And yeah, so I don't even know where to begin with all this, except for I'm beginning here and now, because it just feels like I needed to name it. I needed to begin it, whatever the hell it is. And this is so much longer than I meant it to be. I can see the 28 minutes thing, but I will also just note, because this is something that is going to be like to come, I'm currently feeling all of these individual playing cards so that I can understand what each card means in a deck. But this is about a third of the cards. I think there's like near 60 of them. And so they're each individual playing cards that I found from a certain age, and it was as if through time, and they've stopped showing themselves to me now because I'm on my path. Before I was on this path, before I was at this place of understanding consciousness and this like determined continuation of like anything that's in my way about fully, completely understanding everything that my brain is trying to figure out, my soul is trying to live itself through, like, get rid of it. Not the easiest thing to do. It takes a long time, and it continued understanding and all the growth and whatever, and we're still on the journey. So But yeah, none of these are from the same deck, as you can see. Although randomly I did find like 2 or 3 that are from like a Ben and Jerry's deck. Anyway, I found them in Dublin, I found them in New York, I found them in Edinburgh. I can't remember any other places, but we will figure it out. And each of them showed themselves to me at a certain time throughout my life, and I didn't know enough at the time to like take note of like the number or the, symbol or the imagery on it or whatever it is. So now I'm trying to sit with them in a place of grounding and just like asking the card what it is that it brings to me, and I'm writing imagery and like feelings and energy and stuff like that. And it's been a very interesting journey. So I have a bunch of them there. I'm trying to do that as one of the other things that I do before I move house. So yeah, I just, that feels like something that was so, before I even knew it was like breadcrumbs on a path showing me the way. Literally, like it just felt as like though, literally it just felt as though like much the card was in my path because it was like, you're on the right path. Like, why would it have to be more difficult than that, right? So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that for today. And so welcome to the first installment of Staying Awake. I'm so grateful for if you have listened all the way to the end of this, or if you got anything from it at all. If you've seen anything within this or heard anything within this that felt like connected to you in any way, I am so grateful for that as well. But also if you're not, and it's something that just, cross any of the things, because you exist, I appreciate you so much. And for continuing to exist, I really appreciate that too.